Okay, hi everybody. So today I'm chatting with my friend Lucy, who worked with me, was it last summer?
It was, I think we finished in kind of like the June, July, didn't we, I think?
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
spring, summer. I know that I was like pregnant part of the time because I felt really bad. I was kind of sick. So, but anyways, Lucy had really good results with healing her gut, and she worked with me in my course, but she also did some one-on-one, just a little bit, like with the Voxer support and some sessions. But I just wanted to talk with her today so you could kind of hear from someone's perspective, who had really fast results, which I love to talk about, not because like it's wrong or bad if you take any certain amount of time, but just that what is possible is way more possible than we think. Not only that, one, you can heal your gut and it's not hard, and that it's of course certain that people can do this, and but all aspects of what that takes and what health really includes from a holistic approach. And so Lucy is in the UK, and do you want to introduce yourself and say a little bit about what you do, because you are in the field of working
Yeah.
with people with health anyways.
So I live in Bristol in England. I'm a kinesiologist. So if you don't know what that is, it basically just means that we do muscle testing to figure out what's wrong with the body. And then I do like a combination of massage and nutritional recommendations and things. So,
Awesome.
but my gut had been in a mess for a good year before I stumbled across you, I think, after having my little girl who's now 2.5. So yeah, and I hadn't
Yeah.
been able to sort myself out until I found you. So
So you have 3 kids, right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. And so how long had you had the gut issues? Did you have any before her, or?
I think it was kind of my Achilles heel for a while, like on and off. I'd had a bit of trouble, and but it's a bit like I think you know how you don't almost really realize that something's a problem until it really becomes a problem. Like little things I'd kind of ignored over the years. But I think it was all kind of building up. And then when I had my little girl Indy, so she'll be 3 in September, I got whacked with a load of antibiotics in my C-section,
Mm,
and then I just couldn't. Well, I just couldn't eat anything without bloating out, and yeah, I felt awful. And yeah, it was just my tummy was in a total mess, and I had SIBO as well. So yeah.
okay. So your symptoms were bloating from eating even like healthy foods,
Yes.
and anything else? SIBO, a SIBO diagnosis.
Yeah, so I literally couldn't eat. I couldn't eat onions, garlic. I couldn't eat broccoli, cauliflower. I couldn't eat any gluten, any dairy. I couldn't eat any shit. Like honestly, the list was ridiculous, and there was loads of healthy foods. And so I was down to just eating almost like I was eating processed food, but just things like crackers and stuff because or like just potato because I just didn't know what else to eat. So my diet was getting really bland and really limited. And I know bloating sounds like sometimes I think if you don't suffer with it, it can sound like a minor symptom, but it was horrendous.
Yeah.
Like I really hated it. Every day I'd get to about 4 o'clock and I would start. I mean, you could probably see I'm quite a little person, and my stomach would just be like I was pregnant again. It was horrific, and you
Classic
feel gross.
sign.
Oh, pardon?
Classic sign that you've got gut issues is you look like you're pregnant. And that's
Yeah,
like what happened to me when I was trying to get pregnant, but I was definitely not pregnant, but I looked like I was pregnant because my
yeah.
gut got so messed up. But yes. So, okay. And I think that you maybe found my video about SIBO. I
I did.
remembered.
Yeah, I can't remember how I did now, but I think I was Googling like natural help for or something like that, and I found your video on it, and then I went on your website, and then I had like an email through about the Trust Your Gut course, and I thought I've got to do something, like I have to sort this out. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
never made.
Yes. So, can you like talk to people maybe about like what about what I was saying maybe sounded like it could work for you, meaning being that you already believed in real food and you were already doing a lot of healthy things, and you were a healthy person. So
Yeah.
what do you think it was that kind of sparked your curiosity?
I think just when I saw your stuff, I just got a real vibe that you would just know exactly what I needed to do, and that because you talked about, I think, SIBO before, and I thought, well, you've obviously got experience with it, and I think I just sort of felt like I need to put my health in the hands of someone who can just definitively say to me, do X, Y, and Z, and that will work. And I just needed to kind of have that faith, like that trust, like your course is called, to just just know that I had a plan, because I was kind of floundering, trying lots of different things, but I needed like that one on, that guidance of, this is the plan for you. So yeah, that was kind of
totally. And so what I like to talk about when I talk about health is practical stuff plus spiritual, or like mindset, and how you can't separate them. And I think what a lot of people that end up in this type of arena really need to get is that you can eat a really beautiful diet, or you can be really confused with food, even healthy foods. But until you get that mindset of, like, I get to heal, or this gets to work, or something like that, you really can struggle, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So just tell people sort of like what happened when you started to do stuff.
So we had it, because we did like the one-to-one thing, didn't we? So we started out with a little chat on the phone. I think it was the Friday night, maybe the Friday at my time, and you were just like, this is what you need to eat. Plants are really healing. They can't cause you any harm. And I think just from the minute you sort of said that about sort of the fruit and the veg and how it was just going to really work, I was like, well, of course plants can't do us any harm. That makes complete sense. Like, of course, it just sort of really clicked in my head that, yeah, how could they harm me? They're natural. There's nothing wrong with fruit and vegetables that can't hurt my body. Even though my body was kind of telling me a different story at the time, I felt that actually that was just part of the general muddle my body was in, and that, there was a way to kind of to sort of track through that. And then you give me a couple of things to do in the way of smoothies, and I was on the old papaya seeds. And and I remember you saying, that will literally strip SIBO and bacteria out of my body that doesn't need to be there. And I was like, amazing. So literally the next day, I started doing everything that you said. And that was the Saturday morning. And by the Wednesday, all my symptoms had gone. So it was really quick for me, really, really quick. And I kept out some of the vegetables that had been causing me trouble to start with. Yeah. But when I sort of felt like, when I got to the Wednesday, I just had this feeling that I was just feeling a lot better. And so we started sneaking them back in. I don't know if you remember, but I started sneaking back in like broccoli and cauliflower and onions. I was like, I can eat them and they're not causing me any problems. And it was just amazing.
It's funny because those foods are actually like so helpful for these problems, and they get put on this like bad for you list by all these things on the internet all the time. So many even health people say, well, broccoli makes you bloated and things like that, but it's like a misunderstanding.
Yeah. I think my body was just, I don't know whether sometimes, I don't know if this is how you feel, but I sometimes wonder, when you've got things like that coming in, but you've also still got the rubbish coming in, if it just gets a bit lost in the general noise. And by taking out the rubbish and then just having just the good stuff, then it can kind of do its work. But that's
totally. Yeah, it's like the mixed energy, right? It's like this, the fastest way to heal is to just like take out the things that would trigger the inflammation. But the other part of this is that, like what you're saying, and I don't know if you guys can hear it, but she was saying like, well, she just believed me. She just believed what I said, and it clicked for her. So what would you say to people who already eat really plant-based and are still struggling?
I think definitely, yeah, there's definitely a mindset element involved, isn't there? Because I think you have to trust that what you're doing is the right thing for you. And I think I sort of slightly supplemented some of what I did with you by getting a friend of mine who's a hypnotherapist to record a couple of things around that side of things. So I was also going to bed listening to recordings telling me that everything I was eating was like, I think she recorded it, it was like golden dust, like just eliminating the badness from my body. And you know, and that I think sort of helped as well, just to get my mindset into that idea of like everything I ate was good. And I think sometimes you can eat quite almost a bit mindlessly, can't you? So I mean, I still followed very broadly what you taught me to eat. Like I'm probably 80% like that now, but then I have other little bits and bobs around it. But and I probably don't think about it too much now, but definitely when I was doing like the healing stuff, everything I ate it thinking this is doing my body good, like this is healing it, and I ate really like intentionally and like purposefully. So I think that sometimes helps to just like, rather just eating your plants and just being like, oh, the telly, or oh, what's going on with work, or you know, I was eating them thinking this is getting rid of something in my body, this is putting in goodness, clearing out badness, and I had that sort of thought all the time, you know. So yeah. I think that kind of bumps up the power a bit of what you're doing.
Absolutely. I mean, I think a lot of people have heard of blessing your food or gratitude for your food, but it's very real. It's very real. And just to even question, why am I eating this? Like, do I even believe in what I'm doing? You know, because to me, I think that the clients that have the best success, especially in areas of like things like this, where it's very confusing in most of the world's view of like, where does this stuff come from? And like, can you even heal it? And, you know, it's almost like, wow, like that happened fast, or things like that. It's that you do trust, first of all, that you get to completely heal and you get to, you know, just be totally fine, you know, first of all, and that what you're doing is enough, you know?
Yeah, definitely. And I think yeah, from the sort of the get-go, I felt like I just literally handed all my beliefs over to you and just replaced them with your thoughts in a way. So everything you said to me, I was like, well, yeah, I'm taking that on board. Like I totally believed everything you said, and I didn't even question it. So yeah, I think that really helped me a lot to have that trust. So
Yeah, definitely. That's probably the biggest factor, is I would say, if you're finding someone to help you with your health, is that they, at least in my opinion, I would never work with someone that didn't believe I could 100% have what I wanted. You know, in a way that made sense to me and what was important to me and my beliefs.
Yeah. And also I think sometimes, because there's so many, like you say, like on the internet, and there's so many different things out there that you can read. Like sometimes I have clients come and see me and they're like, well, I'm also seeing a nutritionist and I'm also seeing somebody for this, and I sort of say to them that that's absolutely fine, but if we're all saying slightly different things, you've got to pick one of us. And I don't mind if it's not me, but pick one person and put your trust in them, because then that takes away the confusion and you can put your belief and trust into that person, and then that makes it much easier for you to get better. Otherwise the messages are just muddled, aren't they? And then it's harder to know what to do. So
yeah, definitely. That's one thing I tell my clients too, like, if you're doing this, then you are going to decide to believe in this and yourself mostly, and you need to stop going out there and looking at blogs and like unfollow all these other things on social media, because it can just be like confusing, and it makes you question what's really true and what's really real, for sure.
Definitely. Yeah, I think you could really, like when you said to me about the like having the papaya and that sort of stuff, there was no part of me that thought I need to Google that and just check that's true. I was just like, I do you know what I mean? Like I would have, and actually my nature is quite inquisitive. Like I am really nosy, and I do like a Google, but it just, I never even thought, and I don't know even now if I was to look it up, if I would find evidence that back that up. I don't know, but it doesn't matter, because you said it would work, and it did work. So it just didn't even occur to me to like to double check it. Do you know what I mean? I just, yeah, I kind of figure you have read and done your research and done your learnings in whatever capacity you've done them, and you know your stuff from wherever you've learned it, and it clearly works. So I don't need to be sort of, you know, questioning it in a way. I'm happy to just kind of go, yeah, thanks, that sounds good to me. I'll go with that. So
that's kind of the benefit of having someone help you, right? That you have confidence in them, and that they have confidence in what they're doing, and that they know it and have experienced it. So yeah, like if I didn't have my own gut issues and know exactly what it felt like to eat salads and feel really bad, then, you know, I wouldn't know. So, but that's the beautiful thing. Like you can get where you want to go, and whatever's going on with your body, it's always working for you the best it can, right?
Yeah, and I think the other thing that you said to me when we did it all that really resonated, and I wrote it down in a book, I saw on my bedside table, and I've kept it, and was about the whole, like, that sort of idea that you're kind of on a line, like, and here's like bad health and here's good health, and that our body wants to move that way. And once it started going that way, because I think you'll probably remember I had a couple of blips where you know, afterwards, where I had like, I think some random symptoms after a holiday, and I was like, have I damaged myself by eating loads of French baguette when I went away? And you were like, no, that's literally impossible. You have healed, you are healed, you can't just start going backwards in like the space of a week. And then I sort of calmed myself down.
Unless you believe you can.
Yeah, it was like a real belief thing. I think I just had a funny sort of couple of days where I wasn't 100% on form, and actually looking back, I think it was where I'd come back and I started celery juicing again, and my body was probably just having a little clear out, and that really resonated with me when you were like, no, your body's, it's meant to be healthy, that's where it's trying to get all the time. And if we kind of remove those, like, you know, the things that kind of push it the other way, then you'll stay there. And I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And I like that, really clicked with me as well.
It's definitely about claiming that identity and not letting it go, like,
yeah.
no matter what.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
and I think,
and not attaching it to like being or doing certain things that otherwise you could lose it, right? It's like,
yeah,
inevitable, it's yours.
Yeah, and that actually, like, yeah, definitely, because the other thing I did when I was seeing you, I don't know if I ever told you, but I really made sure I did a gratitude journal every day, and I would pick out, like, even if like it hadn't been a perfect day to start with, I would still write down any little minor thing that had been good, like, I don't know, like I had a little bit more energy, or like I really enjoyed the smoothie I'd had, or, you know, and I just tried to hone in on the little pieces that were healthy. And when I look back at it now, I can see like how quickly that then turned into, my stomach felt amazing today, like I've had no bloating, I feel really well. And there was loads of, like, I did lots of like positive stuff around my health then as well, like in writing it and kind of reaffirming it. And I think that helps to draw more of that to you as well, doesn't it? Because when you feel healthy and you're grateful for your health, then you pull additional good health to you, don't you?
It's so powerful, because I think a lot of people who are in a body condition or shape that feels not like what you want, it's all the time, right? Because you live in your body, and you can't, like, unless you go to sleep, you can't not think about it. Or I mean, you can, but I think it's probably one of the most difficult. It's very, I mean, anyone can do anything. And that's why having your mind on track, on a correct note, is, I think, the most important thing when you're trying to change your body. Because, I mean, until it's different, it's not different, you know, and it is an adding up, and because it took a while to get to where you don't want. So it takes a while, not a long while, as evidence with you. It could be days. You know, when a doctor or somebody out there says, well, there's no cure for SIBO, and then here's Lucy, let her be an expander for you that says, oh, it took 4 days, right? And then, you know, just like solidifying that energy can take maybe a little more, but it's still very phenomenal. I think that's such an amazing story. But I love the idea of gratitude of like, what is right? So many things are always right, even if you have like a chronic health thing going on. So now it's been months, right? And how do you feel now?
Oh yeah, still really good. I mean, what is it now? It's been almost a year. Actually, thinking about it, we finished up just as I was going to France. That would have been July. So yeah, it's been almost a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apart from that tiny blip after France, and even then, you know, I went away and merrily ate baguettes and croissants and pain au chocolat, and I felt great while I was there. It was only when I came back and had a couple of celery juices, and I think my body was a bit like, oh, just get that back out again. But that was the only time, and otherwise I felt really, really well, and I don't have, touch wood, any trouble anymore. So yeah, it's definitely maintained, and energy levels are good. It's good.
And there's nothing wrong with eating baguettes, especially in France. You know,
so lush,
and you don't even need celery juice to like do anything.
No.
People always are talking about celery juice, and I'm like, I didn't know anything about celery juice when I healed myself, and I still don't drink celery juice except for random days that I just kind of feel like it, you know?
Yeah. I think I was still in that mindset of doing it quite a lot because I did it every day whilst I was following your advice. And I think when I got back from France, I just kind of thought, I have eaten quite a lot of rubbish. Maybe this will be good to just have a little reset and get back in the swing of things. And that was sort of my logic at the time. But I haven't had a celery juice for, I couldn't even tell you, months now, months and months. I sometimes dip in. I just feel like, oh, I just want to do something healthy and just think, oh, that'd be nice for me. But yeah, but I'm mostly, I like the smoothies these days. So I do a lot of smoothie based. Yeah,
I'm living off them. They're
yeah
with bananas, right?
Yeah,
lots of bananas.
Yeah, I love a smoothie, but I mean, I would have, now I sort of have you know, I would have like a bit of gluten-free toast or something for breakfast. I found a lovely one here that's really unprocessed and got really lovely ingredients, and I quite like just a bit of that, and then I'll have a smoothie as well. But lunches are quite plant-based, and then evenings are just whatever. And I still have, like, you know, a few little crisps here and there or bits and bobs. I feel like I can be free with my diet, that, you know, as I say, like 80% of it, maybe even 90, is like very healthy. But there's bits and bobs around it that mean that I can live freely without worrying or stressing. I'm not going to be bringing anything back. I know I'm not. So, yeah.
That's amazing. Okay, is there anything else you want to tell people about healing the gut, about, you know, what it takes, anything else?
I don't know. Just do what Jodie says. She knows what she's doing. I don't know. Yeah, I just think following your method for me just absolutely worked, and I can't see why. I can't see why it wouldn't work for everybody. It just it's a great way to live and to be. I think to me it just makes total sense. If you shovel loads of goodness in your body and it's all healthy plants and fruits and veg, and how can you not get well? And it totally worked for me. So I really hope it does work for everybody else that follows your things too, because yeah, it was a complete game changer. And I still write in my gratitude journal from time to time that I'm grateful that I found you, because honestly I don't know where I'd be if I hadn't sorted it all out, and it's definitely thanks to your help. So yeah.
Oh, well, I'm so glad, especially before your wedding.
Yes. Yeah, well, because we then got married, and I had sugary puddings and all sorts of lovely things that day, and felt great and didn't think anything of it. So, yeah.
As it should be.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, and Lucy, do you want to say where you can, what's your Instagram?
It's just Lucy Goodwin Kinesiology. So, yeah, you're very welcome to help me.
You definitely check out Lucy, especially if you're in her area, and she helped me quite a bit when I was pregnant with tapping and stuff. So she's a good one to follow on the Instagram. So thanks, Lucy. I'm so glad you're doing well.
Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you for asking me to chat to you. I very much appreciate it.